Dear believers, to our guests and to our guests who are viewing us via the live stream, greet you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Please turn off all cell phones until after Jumah. Please. Thank you. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa al-insana min tin wa ukhrijahu min adh-dhulumati ila nur. Fa nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu. Nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi. Na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli syai'in qadir. Wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Qala Allah fi Quran al-Kareem. Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu astujibu lillahi wa li rasuli idha da'akum لما يحييكم وأعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء والقلب وأنه إليه تحشرون. O you who believe, O you of faith, respond. Give your response to Allah and to His Messenger when He calls you to that which gives you life. And know that Allah hovers between a person and their heart. And verily, surely to Him you will be gathered. Also, he says, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir wa man yatawakkal 'ala Allahi wa man yattaqi Allahi yaj'al lahu makhrajan wa yuzaqquhu min haythu la yahtasib wa man yatawakkal 'ala Allahi fa huwa hasbuh inna Allaha balighul amri qad ja'ala Allahu li kulli shay'in qadran. He says, whoever believes in Allah and believes in what's to come after, the after, and whoever has a high regard for Allah, He will make for that one always a way out, an exit, whatever is troubling them. And He will give them what they need from where they never thought possible. And whoever depends on Allah, He is enough. He's sufficient. Verily, Allah will always achieve His command. And Allah makes for every single thing a destiny. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful Redeemer, we give all praise and all thanks to Allah, the one and only creator of the heavens and the earth, who rules alone. He is greater than anything. He is greater than everything. As we always say, whether we shape it with our hands or whether we shape it with our mind's vast imagination, Allah will always be greater. He will always be bigger. There's nothing like Him, and He is not like anything, and He doesn't resemble anything. He can't be divided. He can't be measured. He doesn't increase. He doesn't diminish. He is today at this very moment as He has always been. He created change, but He Himself is not affected by change. He's free from change. He created rest, but He's also free from and doesn't need rest. He created time, but He's not subject to the limitations of time. And He also says no space, as we say. We know space changes, but Allah does not. Space is weakened, and space depends on what is there. Allah is never weak. He's never weakened. He's independent of all. Well, we know everything, all depends on Him. Even space, my dear respected brothers and sisters. And while space is present, it's everywhere, it's all around us, Allah, as we read in the ayahs, wants us to know that He is even more present than space. You can't escape space. So you can't escape Allah. He says He hovers between you and your heart. You see? So Allah, He's always present. He's always present. So you don't want us to see Him as being away in heaven. He says He's above heaven. He's above earth. He's above everything, all of creation. And He says, though He be above it all, He wants His human servant to know that He is so close. Closer to them, again, as He says, than the very jugular veins. You see? So He has that presence in us. But there's nothing in Allah, because Allah cannot be contained. Nothing can penetrate His wholeness. Nothing can penetrate His oneness. Nothing can penetrate His unity. There's nothing outside of Himself that can come into Himself. His unity is preserved. His unity is pure. His unity is perfect forever. And Allah says He stays protected as He is. And He will always be Allah. That's not going to change. He will always be Allah. The perfect, the all complete, indebted to no one and indebted to nothing from the outside. And we know, again, we say often that this is only true of Allah, and it's not true of anything else that He has created. Everything else that Allah has created, it has to, by virtue of them being creation, by virtue of their nature, it has to depend on something from the outside. And so our life as human beings, just like every other life form, just like other forms of life, it has to have support from within and from without. We're abstract and we're concrete, so we need both. Our life needs these things. Allah calls us today to take a break from some of the concrete things, the business, the taking care of the material, and to come here, and be reminded of the abstract, the higher value in our life. And he wants us to know that we have these dependencies. He's given us dependencies. We can't escape these dependencies. But ultimately, every single thing depends on his mercy, and every single thing depends on Allah's will. Again, Allah says, this is one of the scholars, Deen Muhammad. He says, Allah created us with an appetite for divine will. And everything Allah created has in it his will. Everything. And is striving to be what Allah created it to be. So thus we have to look at this, my brothers and sisters, the real power of creation. The real power of creation is the will of Allah. It's always moving, always acting, And so we say often that nothing comes into power. Nothing can come into power without the order, the permission, or the will of Allah. And we say, because people do all kinds of things, we look what's happening in our society. So Allah says again, everything, whether it be small or great, good or evil, beneficial or harmful, known or unknown to us, true or false, sinful or virtuous, that all of those things that we perceive, that we see, that we experience in our condition, they only occur by Allah's commission. So it is not possible for anything to exist without the will of Allah. So the most productive of all life forces is the will and also the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no force, no power greater than the will to rise up in our worth. In our worth. It's working as Allah put it, as our worth and our identity as creatures of Allah, if you understand what we were saying. One of those we know that we see Allah gives us an example to show us how it works is Muhammad the Prophet. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. So this is what he says about Muhammad, in the Quran. This is the last revealed book to the world, not just to Muslims, but to the world. This is what he says in this book, that he is not sent to be any except as a mercy to all the worlds, And this is, we look at his history, we study him. He's such a wonderful human being. He's a wonderful man, And we know Allah also says about him, about this human being. He says that لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةً حَسَنَةً أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةً لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ وَذَكْرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. So he also says that verily, surely, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ for all of you, fi, and we emphasize fi, in, not Allah, not Fawqa, in Rasulullah, in the messenger of Allah, is an excellent example, excellent model, And this is for us. This is in the Quran. This is the last revelation. This is the emphasis that Allah puts on Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the word he uses, uswa. That's hasana. And of course we know it has a great relationship to Sawad. This comes out of Sawad. All of us are on Allah Sawad. But he has the most, the best. Uswa, the best. But he is also us and showing us ourselves. So Allah says, surely you will find him to be the most excellent. To emulate. Look at him. He's given this model to us to show him how this will works. Any believer in Allah, and also that you believe that you're going to have accountability to that God one day. You have to believe that too. Not just believe it, there's also the accountability piece. He gives both. You have to have both. So we're not saying this thing just to say this about Muhammad. We know him, we're Muslim, but we're to tell you this about us, who we are. He says, Ana basharun mithlukum. He come to show us to show us our worth, to show us how the world works in the human being in him. You see? So he's us. He's flesh, he's blood, he's human, just like us. So he tells us, even in the statements that Allah said about him, about what he means for humanity, as just mercy, you know, that we are to be people with charity in our hearts. This is how we are supposed to be for all people. We got some groups, they will only support charity if it's a Muslim. They won't support charity if it's anything other than Muslim. No, we're supposed to have charity in our heart for all people. We're supposed to have a desire in our hearts to help all people to the best life that Allah Ta'ala has created us all for. You see? And this is saying this, we also to tell us, when Allah talks about this mercy, that we should be those who in our spirits, this abstract, you know, in our hearts, we should be a mercy to all the worlds. And again, Allah speaking to us through him, Allah has not asked any less of us, my brothers and sisters, than he asks of the motto that he established for us to emulate, to model for us. And he lived and he overcame times of great trouble. There was a lot of trouble during his time. He overcame it. And we see and we are benefiting from a lot of that. So we look at where we are now. We look at the model, look at what's happening throughout human history. So we are now living in a time right now of trouble. Time of uncertainty. A time of sadness. You see? But the balance of this is also a time of hope. It's a time of happiness. You know, that's supposed to be us too. You know, we have to thank Allah for these times. Because Allah said that nothing happens but by his will. If we're here during this time, it was his will that we be here. And there has to be some benefit for us being here during this particular time. You see? We follow the logic to its logical conclusion. So yeah, it's a time of trouble. Families are struggling. Families are trying to hold themselves together. You know, the economy is struggling with the stuff in the streets. You know, trouble for our cities. Cities are trying to protect and provide for all the residents. You know, they're trying to keep civilized behavior from our streets. We're seeing all across this city. You know, and in the adjacent communities, Prince George's County, Chicago, different places. You know, just got a text from one of the imams. His mother was severely beaten. You know, these are kind of, so this is a troubled time, you know, troubled time for our country. Trying to reconcile a divided nation right now, you know. We have this immoral stance that we see, degrading behavior, disparaging speech, vulgar language coming from the top down, you know. So this is a troubled time for the world. You know, we're under one roof now. All of us under one roof. It's no more we're separate, and it takes days to find out what's going on. We're under one roof. Something happened, everybody got it. The world got it. Allah has brought us together. So the world trying to secure peace, trying to secure the global stability, and respond to all these global crises that we see happening right now around the world. So we know this is a time of trouble, but it's also, Allah wants us to not miss that it's also a time to rejoice. Even in the midst of that, a time to rejoice. You see, particularly when we're seeing here in this country, people are standing up. They are being partitioned by the best of their nature, responding to their moral conscience, and they're protesting. We are seeing mass movement in America that we've never seen before in its history as a nation. And it just celebrated the anniversary. But we've never seen what's happening today. You know, people protesting. We just saw last night. Here you got a majority, the president, the House, and the Senate. Democrats, minority. But still, because of the people, because of the pressure from the people, they weren't able to execute an agenda that would hurt people. This is a good time for us to look at this. You know, we see religious leaders are coming together. Actually, in this century, like no other century, we haven't seen it like this before. We've never seen it like this, where religious leaders are coming together for the betterment of the whole planet, not just for their persuasion. That's what we used to see. We need to look at these ayahs that are being given to us, coming together. They're communicating. They're getting to know each other, not just coming together just to push their emphasis. No, they really have an interest in getting to know each other. And they're working together. We are working with them on common things, for the society and around the world, for the betterment of the whole world. This is a time for us to really look at that, and that's a rejoicing piece, So Allah says that one of the reasons that He created us, was He said, lead to autofu. He gave it to human being this freedom of will, and He's given the human being this freedom of life, that we now have, so we can also get to know each other. Use that to get to know each other, and then because He knows that we're going to need each other, and we could not have accomplished some of the things we're seeing if we didn't have each other. If you look at the protest, it's not one ethnic group. It's not one religion. It's not one ethnicity. It's not one. People from different lands, they're all standing together. And we should be among them. You see? Marshal together. Getting to know each other. Standing. It's a good time. This is the time. You can only stand during your time. If it's not your time, you can't stand. When it's your time, that's when it's time for you to take the stand. And some are taking a stand. They're realizing that it might not be conscious, but something is driving them deep in their core to take a stand because they're seeing things going against the very nature that Allah gave them to progress life upon. And they're listening to that. Some don't know what's pushing your action. Some just push me out here. And that's what it is. It's in the nature of the human being. And some of us, we fight it. And we won't go forward, and we'll stay seated. After we sit, we're supposed to stand. The karma comes up, We look, we're supposed to stand. And then go out. Allah says, go out. Go back into the world. And get involved now in the material side. He called us from that to show us that this devotion to Him is the higher devotion. But there's value on the material side, the abstract. We have to be involved in that life to progress it. Because we're both. We're invisible and we're visible. You see, we can't just develop one and not the other. No, the whole life. The whole life that Allah has given us as human beings. You see? So, when we look at Scripture, the Quran, and even the previous Scripture, they tell us about these times, these troubled times, that we will see these things, It's going to be time of sadness, and there'll be people weeping and moaning and groaning and certain types of behavior that we're seeing right now. So it shows that this was hundreds of years ago, that we look at Scripture, we find these things, And Allah even gives us this picture of the sun. The sun is a picture when it's gone. It's like today, storms and these kind of things are happening. Lightning. For some, it's bad. We see some people, the flooding is getting ready to come. Sometimes we had tornadoes come out of the storms, etc. So it's dreadful for some people. You see, but some people, they need the rain. Some need it, And so you got both. You got people dreading and you got people rejoicing. But what we're seeing today is not an absence of the sun. It is still there. It's just these clouds sometimes disturb our view. And that's what's happening. That's what we're seeing right now. Clouds in a society that's clouding up our view. But Allah said they'll be gone. The sun has stopped their shining. Once we move, in fact, you go up high enough, you get past the clouds, and you will see the sun is still shining. That's what Allah wants us to know. He wants us to focus on the brighter picture. You see? And look at the wonders that He's given us, starting with our own life. You see? And He knows that this time of great beauty, with a human soul that we're seeing responding to the needs of the soul, and we will also see the other side with these extremes of insane behavior that we've never witnessed before in the nation. It troubles us. We know it troubles us. But this is again time for us to be straight, and straighten up. We shouldn't bend over. Our head shouldn't. You're a believer. We believe. We have to believe. We say Allahu Akbar. Whatever position, when it changes, you down, you up. It's Allahu Akbar. Whatever's happening, to remind us. Always remember that Allah has all the power and is always in control. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. salatu wa salam ala Rasulihi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it's a great time. Don't forget it's a great time. If you say Allahu Akbar and we say Allah is greater, that means it's great. The time has to be great. There's no time where there's the absence of it being great. We just have to have the right perspective on it, and then brighten up our hopes and have faith. Have faith in Allah. You know, never lose our faith in Allah. And Allah also wants us to have faith in each other. To have faith in each other. You know, He said He's our movement. He has faith. He has faith in what He put in us. So if He has faith in us, He trusts us. We should have faith in each other. We should trust each other. That should override all of these small things, we know. And we know that when we say belief in Islam, in the word belief, we know it's the word trust. The word trust is a big piece of that word there, you know, to trust. That's the essence of belief. That's the essence of faith. To have this trust. But you can't have strong faith if you have doubt. You see, because they can't, those are two things that can't occupy the same space. Some things can occupy the same space. My body and spirit occupy the same space right now. But some things can't occupy the same space. Faith and doubt are those two things that can't occupy the same space. You see? So get rid of your doubts. Get rid of your doubts, brothers. Get rid of your doubts, sisters. These things that we see, you see, things that stand in our way in us believing in Allah, and not just believing. They finally ask people they believe in God, but they don't believe God. There's a difference. Believe in God and believe Almighty God Allah. There are two. We should believe what He's saying. We have to understand what Allah is saying. You know, Allah's presence is more evident now than ever before when we look at things, we look at the signs. If we're reading the signs, we can just see Him working. He's not absent, you know, in the things that we're seeing. So be conscious and recognize these things. You see, the prophet reported once, he said the sun was set on his religion. He basically gave that report. You know, meaning that on his community. And so the following, you know, the those who follow him, you know, and this means that we will lose the pure light, we will lose the pure way. You know, this is a statement that he made. You know, so he also prophesied that the sun, we were talking about the sun, he prophesied the sun will come again and rise in the west. This is something that's coming from him, you know. And when we look at the whole Muslim world, as we're looking at it right now, and at the time that we're living right now, it seems to be stagnated. It seems to be thrown off-centered. And then here in America, there are Muslims from all over the world. They're here taking advantage of the freedoms. These freedoms that we have to live our religion as we choose to live it. The freedom that we have to preach and teach openly as we choose to. The freedom is not given to us like this in other places. I was speaking with an individual just 2 days ago. He's from Iran, but he was born in Qatar. And we know how some of those countries are in terms of citizenship. They obviously didn't give him citizenship because he was from Iran. But now he's been here for 9 years, and it's time for him to make a decision. He got to go back. And he told me, he said, what can we do? He said he don't want to go back. He said he doesn't have the kind of freedoms in Iran that he has in America. He wants to stay in, and that's the sentiment of many. That's why I've been out here today. That's right. Because they know that. They're here today, right here in America. Free to make choices. We have this freedom. And Allah, he said, here's the way. Let him who will to follow it. And let him who does not, let him reject it. This is our Quran. So we're not looking to force people to believe. When Allah says man does not have the power. Man doesn't have the power to make a person become a believer. You don't have it. You see, only Allah can grant that they become a believer. And so Muhammad the Prophet, no matter how ardently you desire to give them faith, only Allah can do this. I'm going to make some brief comments. There's been 2 articles in the newspaper about the community of Warathuddin Muhammad in the Washington Post. And there's going to be other ones because they really want to highlight this community in America, this community. And of course, the article on this a place called New Medina. If you don't know, it's called New Medina. Muslims, they got the streets, have Muslim names, they got messages, they dump the land, etc. Some of you might not know that. And so we sent them down to New Medina, and then they went up to Philadelphia. And they got these pictures, and they want to go to New York. They want to go different places. They want to learn more. They're going to the Mars Cares. They want to bring out more. They see that there's a need for this community, you know. And of course, some of the articles, because it mentioned about the light is diminishing. One of the articles said it's diminishing. The community is diminishing, you know. But let me just put it in perspective for these brief moments, if you can give me this time. You know, when we look at Ibrahim alayhi salam, he had the courage to question Allah. He asked Allah a question. You know, now he couldn't have asked if Allah Ta'ala hadn't created him with an intellect, with an intellect and a certain amount of freedom. He couldn't have done that. So Allah created us to have this free mind and this great intellect that we have. But also upon that, Ibrahim, he had faith. He had faith, and he used his reasoning. He used his reasoning. You know, he was given a license to question. You know, to ask. You know, but the question about what? About what has been revealed. Not as a doubter. He didn't doubt because he wanted to have faith. He didn't want to question what's been revealed. You see, because he wanted to get a better understanding. He wanted to get a better understanding. I need you to understand that what I just said. You know, he was reasoning. He was using his intellect, this capacity for logical, rational pursuit, you know, this analytical thought, this intelligence, this good judgment. All of these things really emanate from uswa, really. You know, we should be applying it in the sound sense to use our faculty of reasoning to think logically. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Allah gave us this intelligence, and he said he wants us to use it. He wants us to use this particular logic, you know. And do we know, really, if you don't use your logic, if you don't use your reasons that Allah gave you, don't you know that's a sin? It's a sin not to use it, you know. Going against truth and reason, that's forbidden. We're not even supposed to do blind following, you know. And don't be made to feel shame for thinking. This is what we want to highlight. You know, when we look at this community, we here, Muslims in America, we're here really for the Islamic world. We're here for the Islamic world by virtue of having come to Islam free, and also ignorant of the stuff that has been added over the past 1,000 or so years. There's some thousands that we see some trouble now. We've talked about the kind of things we're saying, you know. The very fact that we have been stripped, go back, look at it, been stripped and made ignorant of what Islam is. And we had to ask questions. We had to ask questions. You see, equipped. This having that disposition, that in itself equipped us how to question. How to question when others have been locked down from even asking questions. And when there was a time where they cut the questioning off. You see? So don't ask them more questions. Everything is taken care of. Don't you have to ask. This is actually happening. So but we were put in a situation by Allah Ta'ala to do just that. To ask questions. And so we went deep. You know, when we study the development of even, we talk about schools of thought for Muslims in the old world. Africa, Saudi Arabia. I'm just coming back from Saudi Arabia, you know. Other places around the world. These schools, we know, we look at the main ones, they don't conflict with each other. And we know they address different problems, different issues in a very special way. And we see that they had more in common with each other than not, because of the close proximity of their time. But while we now, brothers and sisters, we are close to 1,000 years away from them, you know, continents away, continents really didn't even exist when those schools were there, you know, in a new human society here in America. So looking at the picture, you see, our thing is that they should reread, they should restudy those schools of thought, of thinking in light of the changes that have come about on earth, you know, to modernize man, whether it be for good or whether it be for bad, to better educate the public, etc., whether it be for good or for bad. You know, we have different kinds of environmental conditions affecting the human soul now that we didn't have exist during that time. We have things that are challenging the religion to keep it all pure, to keep it all genuine, you know, the character, etc. But for us now in America, if we look at particularly now, the movement that you're in right now, and all across America, really, it's a new people. It's a new people. You know, when we look at before slavery. And this will help put everybody in context, you know. There were no people like us on the planet. No Negro really on the planet. No one who had gone through the shackle slavery, you know, the conditions, stripped of every single thing, a new social group on the planet that didn't exist before. And look at how Allah did it, you know. Allah created us again, really as a people here, separate from the continent of Africa, you know. We were emptied, stripped down to nothing. We got soul, brother, soul, food, etc. Because we didn't have nothing. Because everything was taken away from the people. Just to see how Allah is working in the lives of the people. And we had to progress from our children who were going to that condition, but they didn't know anything. They were disconnected from the life of the past. Here we are, ancestors of slavery, and during the struggles to see our humanity free, Allah Himself has restored the human life through those human vessels. This is what we're seeing now. We're seeing a new people with a new mind, new sensitivities, and our own unique understanding of the religion. You see, what is it going to result to? You know, we as new thinkers, you know, we don't think like Africans. We're not Africans. We say we're African American. We're not. We don't think like Africans. We don't even sound. We don't talk like them. We don't think like white people. You see, we don't think like Arabs. We're not Arabs. It always disappoints us when we see our brothers try to put Arab hairs on their body. You know, that bothers us. We are not Asians. We don't think like Asians. We think like us, like we're supposed to. Now, why? My brothers and sisters who are here and those around the world listening, why should the Islamic world, why would they be deprived of Islam being experienced through new and innocent vessels? You see? Imam Deen Muhammad, inheritor of the faith of Muhammad. That's his name. His son is the second Deen Muhammad. Now that's the name. He has laid a foundational arguments and has given us powerful perspectives and interpretation of the words and concepts of the Holy Quran. You know, and so these paradigms, and we share these things when we're traveling abroad, and they're beginning to see. Because they're not seeing it because that's not their circumstances. They can't possibly see it because they're in a whole other circumstance. They're upon a whole other history, upon a whole other circumstances, conditions. So they're looking and they want more of this coming from us, you know, these areas of it. Because, you know, look, as we look at, I'm going to get ready to close up because of the time now. But this shifting has caused this new community to read the same Holy Quran. It's not a different Quran. This is not a movement like Noble Jew Ali, who had his own Quran. This is not that. That's the whole Holy Quran was given to this community 80 plus years ago, 1930. The whole Quran, it was told this is the complete and perfect word of Allah Ta'ala. They didn't know it at the time. Didn't understand, didn't know how to read it. But they were told, hold it. If you do read it, make sure you're clean. Make sure it's clean and keep it up high in your life, protect it, don't let no dust get on it, and that's what they did. And knowing later it would mean to keep it high in your life, not just in your homes, but have it up high. They come to understanding later to have it high in your life, you know. So the same Quran, the same words as those that came generations before, yet understand them differently. Understanding, it's about the understanding. Now certainly in some areas, these new perceptions will inevitably lead to new conclusions about the meaning and the practice of the deen and how we follow Muhammad the Prophet's example, this uswatun hasana, yet we are not introducing anything that is not already there. So this is a good time for us to embrace what Allah Ta'ala has already put in place to help the global ummah. He's given the global ummah the help that it needs, and all of us here now share in that history. We're here together upon that history. Don't separate yourself. We're not supposed to separate. La tafarraqu. No, we are to embrace. We're supposed to connect, even in the history of Islam. When Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sent their followers. He told them to connect with those who were there. That's one of the mistakes that were made early on. When the immigrants came, they didn't connect with the communities. They set separate communities up, and they had mistakes. But now we're beginning to come together now upon the foundational life and circumstances that Allah Ta'ala has created in the world right here in America. My dear brothers and sisters, believe in Allah and believe Allah, believe in the angels. Even while we are working and thinking that we don't have no help, among human beings, angels, they're here with us now. They come here, they get here early, they record who's coming. Angels are always aware, and they're always working with us, my dear brothers and sisters. So don't give up. Keep your faith. Keep your faith. Strengthen your faith, and don't let this nasty, inhumane world kill your spirit. Keep your faith and strive to please Allah Ta'ala with your utmost. Strive to stay away from lies. Strive to stay away from untruthfulness. Strive to stay away from any bad behavior. Because any bad behavior that you tolerate, it will weaken you. It will weaken your good nature. It will weaken your original nature that Allah created you for, and that is the best of your human nature, my dear brothers and sisters. It'll be destroyed. We don't want that nature to be destroyed to the world. Let us pray. We ask Allah to purify us and our intentions, to accept our prayers, and to give us increase, to keep us in the faith, to give us His protection, to guide us, to keep safe for us the guidance, and that we don't neglect or lose the guidance. May He keep our interest for the whole of the religion, and that we live it fully in society, so that our life will be a testimony, a witness for all other societies of what Allah wants for mankind. May Allah give us light and open our eyes for the light, and forgive us our ignorance, our sins against our own life, so that we will have His mercy and a new chance for life and progress. Ameen. Hamad Islam.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala salat. Qad qamat as-salat, qad qamat as-salat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
We have some important announcements immediately after. For those who can stay, again, if you can stay, please stay seated for the announcement. We are going to hear from one of our leaders in the public service. We're going to hear from one that's visiting with us today from New Jersey, one of our Muslim council persons that was just elected. We will hear from him, and he's going to also speak about this upcoming convention. And then we have some other announcements that are very important with what's happening this weekend. So again, if you can remain seated so we can get through some of the important announcements, allow those to listen, and others may want to make their prayer before they leave because of their time, and we understand that as well. But if you leave quietly, please. Don't forget your zakat and your sadaqah. Salatul Nur, sadaqah Burhan. Prayer is light, giving is the proof that you receive the light. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يأتيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فأوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين
تكبير
الله أكبر
تكبير
الله أكبر
تكبير
الله أكبر Assalamu alaikum. While we're bringing up our brother Alfred coming up, I want to just make this one announcement before I come back. This Sunday at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a community breakfast followed by a community meeting. So we'll be here from about 10, probably until do a prayer, maybe to 12:30, maybe, yeah, probably, hope we go to do a prayer. But we do have some good news, and we're going to update the community on obviously what's been going on since our last community meeting. And so I hope you plan to be here. Certainly sometime it disappoints us and people want to know what's going on, and they haven't come to the meetings to see exactly what's going on. There's a lot going on, there's a lot happening, and hopefully that you'll come to the meeting. We do need the voting members because there will be some vote at the meeting regarding some property decisions that we're going to be making, inshallah. So I'm going to bring up our brother Alfred Muhammad. He is the sole Democratic Muslim in Linden, New Jersey. He's on the council, and he's the first. He's the first elected to that position. So we're going to hear from him. He's going to also talk about the upcoming convention next year and anything else he wants to share briefly on his recent election. So we congratulate him as we see many Muslims running for office. There are others running for office too, for governor, etc. If you all don't know, across America, many are involved now in the political process. And again, at one time, that wasn't the case. Nobody wanted, everybody turned their back on being involved civically. Again, it was the leader of this community that picked the American flag up when it wasn't popular, and now we're all picking up, embracing our identity, and making some changes.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, dear beloved believers, and to the honorable and noble Imam of this masjid, the National Masjid, Imam Talib Shareef. We have to change that name from Talib. You're no longer a student. We have to call you Maulana. But I'm honored. And as one of the rappers said, we started from the bottom and now we're here. Never in my life expectation, when I moved to Linden, New Jersey, did I expect to be city councilor. But I came to the city of Linden, and what you all taught me, people like Brother Thomas Shareef, people like Brother, I knew him as my captain, Jerome, or Salim Umar. They told me to take charge of this post and all mosque property in view. But you know what? The Imam has told us, we may see the clouds, but there's sunlight and it has risen in the west. And so I went about my business. I had aspiration to be a resident imam. And I had aspiration, I was a former imam there in Baltimore. So I love being a resident imam. When I come in this masjid, my spirit is just boom. It reminds me that nothing we did is lost. When the brother escorted me upstairs to the kitchen, to the order, to what is called in the Islamic law earth, that was just customary. I felt everything. I didn't feel any foreign spirit. Yet at the same time, when I heard the Imam give that khutbah, and I heard the Imam with that powerful tajweed, as one brother said, he said tajweed. See, we the Muslims in America, we had the Quran on the high shelf. We didn't know anything about it until February 26, 1975. And I told the people over the Pew Charitable Trust on Wednesday, which was the day after my birthday, I turned 70 years old. And I told them, I'm a senior citizen, so if I'm suffering from dementia, but I think you are suffering from dementia, that you are going to have a conference on the findings of what Muslims think in America, and to my estimation, prior to 1977, Muslims didn't consider themselves as Americans. We would have never thought about going into the military until Imam Wahiduddin Muhammad. So a revival had come to America, born in America, the son of Georgia. And we're going to bring light to America. And this, I'm going to be brief, because I was silent throughout my campaign. The mayor asked me to run. And it made it very easy because the mayor was the one I pushed to run to be the mayor. I came in town, I greeted everybody I saw for the last 13 years. I went to all the funerals. I went to all the community meetings. I went to the school. One guy said, you know, I'm not surprised you were running for office because I always thought you were running. But I told him my office is imam. And so when they offered it to me 3 times, I said, no, I'm not interested in political office. So finally, 2 days before it was the end of the election cycle, that is the petition side, the mayor said, we are thinking about drafting you. Well, I have my own ministry. Religion means alive. It's a ministry. It's a ministry that is dedicated to bringing our message to the public in urban peace. I'm here to bring mainly African American men to commit themselves to the sacredness of life. And my goal in the next 2 years is to send hundreds of thousands of men to messages like this, besides like this, to get a message. Let Brother Imam, I know, put them even in the Boy Scout or put them in the military, because they need discipline. And those who want to go forth, let's put them in the military. But they should be in the military, they should be in college, or they should be in business. But that's the motivation of religion means of life. So they asked me, I said, brother, I think I'm stepping down. They said, you're running for office, you think you're stepping down? I said, step down. My office is higher than that office. But I called around, made sure a few people. They said, yes, run. So I decided I'll run. Didn't run for any symbolism. So when we met with the campaign people, they said, maybe we should play down Alfred. Pay down Muhammad and push Alfred. The mayor hit the table, said, no, in the fourth ward, Muhammad is a brand. I said, Mr. Mayor, I have known how to follow African American leadership. If you're going to campaign with me, and you prepared to work an old 69-year-old man from Lynchburg, he said, don't tell me from Lynchburg, you're from Linden. I said, but I want him to know that this boy came out of Virginia. He didn't come from anywhere overseas. Not that I'm knocking my brothers from overseas, but a lot of them voted for me. So we went on. We campaigned door to door, just like we sold the Muhammad Speaks and the fish. Knocked on the door. And that's what I told the people at the Pew Charitable Trust. You saying, oh, African Americans with 13% of the Muslim population. According to my statistics, when I knocked on 40% of those people's doors, they gave me the greetings. And one lady, I used to ask them this question, what church you a member of? So when they said, I ain't a member of no church, I had the minister on, everything was showing. She said, I'm a Muslim. And the mayor said, but that's why you can vote for him, right? She said, yes. So I just tell you that it's great days in America. If I were probably 20 years younger, I am bored enough, I would run for the president of the United States and win. I'm convinced of that. And I'm understanding cultural history. Someone told me not to mention this, but the history says I am the first Muhammad in United States history, just for a news reporter, to elect up. Not the first Muslim, but named Muhammad. A man that sold Muhammad Speaks, was part of a group that prayed to America, the fall of America, have now risen to pick the American flag up. I used to hide my United States Navy background, so I now tell them I'm from the old I Navy, and it helped my campaign. So I told one guy, he said, you're too old to vote. I said, I wasn't too old to serve in the United States Navy, and for you to demonstrate a Navy veteran and a senior citizen of America is a shame. And I won the election 2-1. So I thank you, because I tell people I didn't run for office. I ran to represent you. I'm not ashamed that right here on this podium, on many occasions, Dr. Lonnie Shabazz, Mameline, had permitted this young boy now, I'm still Virgin May Diz's brother, and son, you know, I'm going to tell you something. I have a sister who's 90 years old on Sunday. I went with her to Providence Hospital in December, and she told me, I said, well, doctor, what is the procedure? She said, shut up. You ain't nothing but a baby. So when I'm at her home over in Temple Hill, Maryland, I'm just still that little baby boy. So and I'm going to end it with this, because, I started preaching. I don't know how to stop. I started preaching when I was 7 years old in Lynchburg, Virginia. I've survived it. Now I want to invite you all to come to the Mosque Cares National Convention. Why should we come to that convention? Imam Muhammad says it's very important to show numbers. There are people in government have told me, I really would like to be Muslim. I want you to know another good piece of news. Every Monday, I have 5 preachers that come to the restaurant, and they actually give me a donation. They said, we're not going to let you teach us without giving you something. They pick up a collection, and I teach them for 2 hours. And I have one of the stars, and I don't invite your followers, one of the stars, and Minister Farrakhan following, said to me, it's just a matter of time before he would be an imam. So we got to open up a seminary to train these people, because they're going to come by the thousands. Remember what God says, either Ajah or Nasru al Fath. It's going to be victory. America is going to see new leadership. And as God said, let's come in large numbers to the convention. And it so happens that the convention is the time of the big Eid. So that's a powerful sign from God. Y'all used to call them Savior's Day. I haven't thrown away any of the good teachings of the Nation of Islam. I still can drill. I got a little belly here, but I'm going to lose that too. Getting ready to go on 90%, because I need 20 more years on this earth to go out in these streets and teach our people. I told a brother when I was in Maryland just yesterday. I said, watch me get out of the car, and I'm going to talk to 3 of these people. I said, brother, come here a minute. That's how your daddy used to do it. Come here, I got something to tell you. I said, brother, I have a message for you from God. And that's the truth. That God has sent a liberator to you to free you. And we got to do that. We got to tell our people, y'all get behind this imam and support him. Don't forget, give your Sadaqa Nura to support this masjid, and we're going to support this masjid to build a brand new masjid, and we're going behind Imam Talib. I told you I can't call you Imam Talib, but we support you, we love you, and I look forward to seeing every one of you at the convention. Bring your children. I still know a few of the rap words, so we started from the bottom and now we're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks again as well. Thank you. Hello. Yes, we have someone blocked in on the parking lot. What's the vehicle?
Toyota Corolla.
A Toyota Corolla is blocking someone. A sister has to leave. It's Toyota Corolla. Please move your Toyota Corolla so the sister can get out. Anybody double park? Anything else? That's it? Okay, all right. Assalamu alaikum. Read the bulletin. Most of the announcements are in there.
Beautiful.
Again, make sure you get your bulletin, but I do want to highlight that there's a singles icebreaker at the masjid here tomorrow at 12 o'clock from 12 to 3:30. Singles icebreaker. If you're single, good opportunity to come here. We got a good group of single people that'll be here. A social event, 12 o'clock to 3:30 here if you're single. That's tomorrow.
No.